Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
So, guys, welcome to the live. Are you sure it's still loading?
No, it's live.
If you have your twin or your proxy twin today or a stuffed animal, just get them and sit on them. It's gonna be the first step of the meditation. So we're gonna be really tuning into that today. As long as they can support you, right? Strong legs. I weigh a little bit of much, so she's holding it down right now. But we'll get started with that and get your crystals out and get and your everything else. All right, cool.
Oh my god. Oh, my face hurts. Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness. Always got to have some fun.
I think we're gonna start with a dance party.
Are we gonna dance? There we are. Wait, it'll cut it off because it's Facebook.
Why? Oh, really?
Yeah, literally like.
Dang, we can't do a dance party.
No, unless it's your own music.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do that.
Jam out to Anamone.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I like that.
Starting with the dance party, get your feet, get a little stretch in. You know, get a little movement, move the hips. Well, mine's hopefully we get the MCA too. I mean, yeah, it might get flagged by Facebook. I know, but I do. Yeah, I do on the rights. Yeah. But yeah, we'll keep dancing.
You got this in the water, stay away, just be honest as you walk in towards the light. The ascension comes at night. In a moment, I will make it in the night. Back. I will make it in the night. I want the dragon, darkness into the lion's heart, unconditional. Your highest heart, speak your truth like it's yours. That you love. In a moment, open and I see all that is fake. The illusion that's taking me away from myself. Taking me away from myself. But how come I am on the side? I was the crown, I just want it all back. And I was meant to find. And I found love within myself.
Hi, y'all. That would be a Dylan original that you all just heard. Anamale. Very powerful musician over here.
Welcome. For the dance out.
Got the dance out, got the wiggles out. Everyone's here. We're going to light our candles, set an intention. Make sure you have your rose quartz, pink tourmaline, anything that's higher heart. Mister, what else could they use for higher heart?
I mean, that's really, rose quartz is amazing.
Okay.
You want to use anything? You can use any sort of a green stone as well that you really like lean into. Malachite, anything like that. Aventurine, whatever's coming through.
It's Anamale. It's on Spotify, y'all. I'm going to leave you the link.
Drop the link.
Dropping the link to the Spotify. Do you want to just talk for a second, babe?
Yeah, I'll talk. So here today we are doing a twin flame meditation, karmic clearing, moving through a lot of the blockages, understanding how the polarities and the archetypes work through us, so we can understand what exactly mirrors do and how
What
we
the
can
fuck just
work with the
happened?
mirrors. So I think it's really important that we all start to focus on less about the end game here and more about the now game and more about the what kind of polarities are you seeing in your life? Are you getting a reflection from the masculine in a divine state? Or are they showing up wounded for you? Are you getting a feminine in the divine state, or is she showing up in scarcity or wounded for you, right? So we're really starting to look at and analyzing, where our partners are showing up for us, where our friends are showing up for us, and different people that we're meeting, different friends, right? Are you constantly in a vortex of attracting people with chaos, drama, disease, um, all kinds of that kind of stuff, right?
Oh my gosh, that was
Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg trying to shut us down out here because, yeah, you know what?
Who's speaking the truth?
Controversial truthers out here
Oh, it
talking
could have
about.
been your song though. It really could have.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it is published by a publisher.
Oh, touche.
So because of that, they could it's just a flag.
Hi everyone, we're here when you're ready.
You know,
Hilarious.
calling you back in.
We're calling you all back in.
Oh yeah, they all recorded. We were live.
We were live.
Yeah.
It just wasn't working.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. On our end, it said we weren't on anymore. It's fine.
Back on.
We're back here. We're live. We moved through it. We're gonna set a little intention for the day. We're gonna just take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth, setting the intention of clear communication and really connecting to this idea of wholeness and completion within oneself, which will then create more reflections of wholeness and completion and pure love within your external environment, and just having a whole lot of fun despite any technical difficulties. Okay. Now we're going to take our incense, as we always do, light it from the flame of the candle, like this. So the intention is infused into your incense, or your sage, or Apollo. If you don't use any of those, you can spurt some rose oil or any other essential oil. You want to start using scents to really just get all of your senses online when you're doing any sort of magical practice, meditation, anything. Remembering also to give yourself space. We are going to be lying down during the meditation part.
This one smells like lasagna.
This smells like my lasagna?
Yeah.
It's the dragon's blood. Oh. I make the best lasagna though, so I'm not offended by it.
Maybe I'm having food like repugnance right now. I'm just smelling it.
Okay, so pure reflection. How the divine masculine and feminine are showing up for you.
For me?
No, that's what you were talking about before I convinced us that we weren't live, but we really were.
Yeah, no, I mean, like when we were going through this journey, right, we're working through everything is polarities. Everything is masculine and feminine, yin and yang, whatever you want to look at that. And it's happening in our bodies, it's happening in our mind, it's happening in our cells, it's happening in our organs, it's everything, right? It encompasses all of that. So since everything's a mirror, we're creating our whole reality, projecting it through our mind. Everything that's showing up for us is a reflection of the inner work, right? So where you're at inner work will then return back to you outer work. So even if you're doing the work, you may still be attracting these mirrors that are chaos as fuck, or it's drama, or it's whatever, and it's like, oh my god, I can't figure it out, right? Because like you may have been doing that work, but have you done the work? And so the more that you clear that out, the more you can look in there and see what that's reflecting back at you. You can come back into the heart. You can come to this space of creation, right, out of the mind and the space, and see, like, how am I really showing up? How are the polarities showing up for me? What kind of people am I attracting? What kind of support am I bringing in? And you'll start to notice a shift in it, right? Even as we all entered in the spiritual community, we started noticing the quality and caliber of friends that we were pulling towards us emotionally were way higher than what maybe we would achieve in 3D friendships, right? 3D friendship is like, let's go out to drink in 2 weeks at a bar and have some pretzels together, and we're going to talk about sports, and we're going to talk about whatever, right? And then you come into community, and
3D friends are, hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, and then you come into community and you meet somebody and you're like, I have this download for you. You are meant to be a healer and my friend, and let's connect deeply. And we connect so deep, right? We go deep into it because we want that. We crave that connection of openness, oneness, right? That's what we're leading into. So this whole journey, this whole twin flame, whole polarity journey is merging into what it's the one, essentially, right? You're coming back into union with yourself. You're seeing yourself in others. You're seeing where you're at in your own divine balance. And it can be really eye-opening to just start to just sit there and see, how are people showing up for me? So today we're going to be clearing those karmic cords, right? Because really with the karmic cords, they are attaching us to all kinds of multi-dimensional, non-linear time connections, possibly out of this world, out of this plane, right? Clearing it out so we can come into a space of neutrality and oneness within ourselves. So all those blockages leave, everything moves out of that space. What do you got for us?
Don't go looking for your twin flame. Like, literally, don't fucking do it. It's the worst idea that you could ever have, ever. The reason why is because you're gonna drive yourself insane wondering, is this the one? Is this the one? Am I married to the one? Am I already with the one? How do I know? How do I know? I promise you, as soon as you stop looking for the one out here and you start looking for the one in here, then they're just gonna manifest. Like, if this is the biggest disclaimer, if you have chosen to play that game in this lifetime, this is why it's so important for Dylan and I to start coming out and teaching this, because there are so many misconstrued beliefs around this idea of twin flame, what it means versus soulmate versus karmic partner. That's why we're doing like multiple events about it, whole series course on it. But the biggest thing is truly understanding that the reflections that you get in, like, really the reflections you're getting in your relationships, whether it's your romantic ones or your friendships or not, all has to do with your own inner chatter, in your own inner mind, your own battle that you're dealing with. So the more you can fully love and accept yourself, like, I got this, I'm solo, it doesn't matter, I'm going to be on mission no matter what, that's going to pull in the people here to help you with the mission. Not every soul decided to split in half. Okay, this is, if you take nothing else away from this fucking live stream, please hear me now, believe me later. Not every soul split itself in half.
And it's facts too. Look at birthing rates, right? How many twins are born?
Not very many.
How many triplets are born?
Not very many.
So there we go. It's just in biology.
Yeah. So just because you might be watching this meditation and you're like, oh, maybe I have a twin flame, I feel like I have one, doesn't necessarily mean that you do. And maybe it's just not meant to be a full connection in this lifetime either. There's twin flames that I've met that are full on twin flames, but you can tell that one of them has done the inner work and the other one hasn't. So it doesn't matter that they're the same soul split in half. They're not at the level where they're meaning to merge again into the singular soul to then transcend. Like, Dylan and I individually, before we even met each other, knew that this was our last time. Like, we're fucking done on this planet. Like, we're going to take a break in the cosmic soup for a little while. So that's... So we want to really show, like, there's different dynamics of that, but it all still comes down to literally the line in Animale that we were playing on the last live before I convinced us that we weren't live when we apparently still were, is, what is it? I found love within myself, right? Like, I found the love within myself, and at the time in my life that I never would have expected. I wasn't looking for anything. My marriage was awesome. We had money in the bank. The kids were doing great. We had the yard. Like, everything was amazing. And then all of a sudden, this chaos comes into the life, and we have to figure it out from there. So I want you all to just, like, sit with that. It's okay if you don't ever connect with your twin, because your twin is really, you're going into divine union with yourself.
Also, would you know if you didn't know? Right?
Right.
It's so branded in the spiritual community. But I mean, I don't know who invented it, but I'm assuming some light worker person had discovered this connection, came up like, oh, got to download this, and started spreading the knowledge online, and then eventually, like, it spread out through there, right? Right.
Because it's such a romanticized thing.
Yeah, and it's really coming down to archetypes working through your body. So here's two archetypes, right? I am a son, Karen's a mother, she's also a businesswoman, and I am a musician. These are archetypes that play in all of our lives, right? There's a postman, there's the judge, there's the priest, there's the singer, right? There's all these different things that we can play. But as you work through the basic level of archetypes, you start going into the causal plane, which is like the mental plane of creation, and then you get into more of your God self. You can start playing with the really higher level archetypes. So that's why people will be like, oh yeah, we're Jesus and Mary Magdalene, or we're I don't know who else, the Beyonce and Jay Z, right? So we're like, it's like we start going there. It's like
Persephone and Hades,
Yeah.
Psyche and Eros,
All that
of
stuff.
these really ancient. But really, the Jesus and Mary one is the one that the true, like, that's true divine union. Like, I'm really actually ready to turn off the words twin flame, except for hashtags, because this is about divine union. It's about, like, the lover's card in the tarot.
Oh, Isis and Osiris.
Isis and Osiris, right? It's just this idea of full completion of one entity that was really, like, if you think about it, it's really kinky. It's like super kinky that our soul decided, like, how about I'm gonna rip myself in half.
And narcissistic as fuck.
Super narcissistic. Rip myself in half. Live many, many lifetimes apart. Sometimes come into congruence. Like, our biggest thing was that we don't want to see one or the other die again because it fucking sucks. Remembering the past lives that we've had this connection and then it's been ripped away from us. So,
Or her killing me.
or him killing me. Either of them have happened many, many times. But our soul was one soul in two different bodies, and now at this great conjunction, right? This time of ascension, hey Kelsey, this time of great awakening of the entire planet, that was the decided, like, okay, so I'm going to split myself up for a few thousand lifetimes, but in time for the great ascension to occur, the golden age to occur, I'm going to come back into completion within myself, teach myself all the things I've learned separate, because there's just no way I could learn it all if I just stayed in one soul. And then, oh, here we are in the 21st century, just like completely trying to figure out our shit, but we know things that the other one never learned. Like, I never learned sound healing, and yet I sat in his sound healing training and was like, I know all this shit already. Why am I here? I literally know all this. Oh, because he knows it, ergo I know it. And actually, you all know it too, but that's for a different live stream.
Talk about the illusion in a lot of the women right now that's happening when the current husband being obsessed with them being the twin or making them the twin or whatever it is, and blocking off other karmic connections that possibly could come in, right? Getting too dialed in and focused on something where you're like, this is this, right? Or this is how it has to be. I've met a lot of women on my travels where they're like, I'm with my lower my 20s and his lower self right now. It has to be my karma to pull him out of it, right? Like that kind of thing.
No. First of all, let's all remember that we all have shadow twins. We also have karmic bonds for the earthly plane. So how I knew, the easiest way for me to describe this is just to explain what the fuck happened back in October. How I actually knew that Dylan was my twin flame and not just some random guy that was maybe trying to bang me was actually because I went through a really intense astral meditation on 1010 where my earthly marriage contract was actually presented to me. And I was told that I could sign it and that I no longer needed to be bound to the earthly karma associated with my husband. So my husband is my soulmate for my 3D mission. So my earthly mission, having children, creating a home, changing the politics, right? Those sorts of things are things that Ryan can help me with. But I could do that, right? If I had never become conscious, super conscious, if I never started talking to dragons, I would still be living that life in perfect harmony, and Ryan is my partner for that plane of consciousness. Okay? I reached a new plane of consciousness, a higher plane of consciousness where I knew that I could do this all on my own. I could go travel the world healing through my vibration of the dragon invocations, which sounds like straight up fucking gibberish, singing through my song, through my voice box, right? And because I was so solid and I can do this on my own, I've got this, I can take over the planet essentially with dragons. All of a sudden, here comes this reflection of someone who had also done all this inner work, and then actually believed me. Like, it's really hard to describe that part, but really was like, oh, I'm totally on the same mission, healing the world through sound, changing things through the vibration and frequency. And then there were all these really weird, like super weird random things from our childhoods that like literally couldn't be anything else. Like, our feet are literally the same. And we both were hostesses at Mexican restaurants when we first for our first job, and just so many random fucking things that it's like these were little symbols that we gave each other, to the point now that when we find out something that's similar, we're just like, yeah, we fucking know, it's fine, it's not a big deal.
Amazing.
But so but yeah, it is.
So what do the ladies gotta do?
The ladies have to realize that you're not, you might have to be in both, right? The phenomenon is, you could be chasing your shadow because you haven't actually done your inner work that you think you have. I had a long conversation the last 3 days. I've been stuck in shadow again. I do the fucking work, and I was stuck in shadow for 3 days because of the fear that I have around how successful this is going to be. So, but I know that I have the awareness. But if you're not actually doing the inner work, you're not actually stopping the chatter in your skull, and you're allowing all this extra chatter in your skull, you're such a weirdo. Then it's going to continue. It's going to perpetuate. If you're someone that's like, oh, I've met my twin, but he's in a lower vibration, it's my karma to help pull him out. That's a really nice fucking story, and you should figure out why you have to be the savior to some guy that clearly doesn't give a fuck about your divine mission.
Yeah, and treats you like shit.
And treats you like shit. Literally, if Dylan had done any of those things, I would have been fuck off and leave and just be done. Because I already was dealing with an abusive husband. I'd already dealt with my shadow twin. I'm not available for men to treat me that way. And that's a standard within myself, right? I set the standard. You will not yell at me. You will not talk down to me. You will not patronize me. Those are my standards. So, does Dylan do any of those things? No. Does my 3D husband do some of those things? Sometimes still, yes. But he's also now a Zen Buddhist monk, when 6 months ago he couldn't give a fuck about Zen Buddhism. So, growth.
It's all me, baby.
It's all you. So what about the I want you to talk about this, the wounded feminine, all of the wounded feminine that found you while you were on your travels, because I think that'll help too. They might think that they're with they found their twin, but they're not.
So
How many women this year told you that they were your twin flame? Triggered.
The numbers don't lie. So basically, yeah. Well, I hold the divine feminine code. So with my low self-worth and my need to be accepted and all this stuff that I was going through, along that kind of stuff, being raised by two wounded feminine women just because they had been trashed by the patriarchy, going back generations, right? There's not a single man who is raised up to my consciousness in my bloodline that I know of on record, right? They've all just been stuck in the sauce or just living in the patriarchy super hard, being abusive, right? So I came with all these things in my DNA. And I never really understood what it was to really see a woman fully embodied, right? You see Beyonce and you're like, oh, well, she's got it. Lady Gaga, she's got it, right? But like, that's a TV, it's a celebrity, it's a musician or something, right? So then you get what you receive, you get what you give too. So I just would attract these women who were at the same place I was. I may have known healing knowledge, I may have known how to do different stuff, I may have had these ancient codes in me, but my actual feminine self-worth, my belief in my intuition, my belief in my creativity, my belief in my wholeness and my sexuality and shame in my sexuality and sexual, all that kind of stuff, right, was attracting to me in these forms. And then I started realizing the patterns. I was like, oh, it's this and this and this, and they all drive the same car and they all look the same. And if I close my eyes and I listen, they sound the same. And it goes back years. This goes back all the way into like the early 2010s and stuff. Like it's like the repeating cycle. And I was like, why do they all have this first car and they all got a new car and it's the same brand? What's going on here? What is this trying to teach me? And then I realized, oh, they're a reflection of my own inner feminine codes. And so I started clearing that out. This was maybe 4 days before the training with Karen. For my sound healing training, I started clearing this out heavily. And then she took the training like shortly after, and then we connected, and boom, here we are. But it took that inner work, right? It took me cleaning up the polarity within myself to see like, oh, what does wounded feminine show up as, right? Why are they showing up for me like this? Why are they feel that? And also, why do they feel safe with me, but when I recommend them to Karen, they freak the fuck out because they're scared of her or whatever. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's a warning label. You guys know better than I do. I was scared too. So it's just, but in the best way. In the best way. The best way.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like, right? I had to deal with all that. I had to see. And for example, one of my students, I actually had recommended to her. I said, "Hey, I think you should work with both of us. We should figure out some sort of custom things. I know I can help you, but I know she can help you." And she checked out your stuff, and she was like, "Heck no!" She scares the shit out of me. And I was like, "What? That's so all right, fine, whatever." We did 2 weeks together, and now she loves Karen. So it's kind of like this process of when you have done the work, when you have come into sovereignty, when you come into your polarity balance, right? You're going to trigger the fuck out of people because you're such an independent person. You're no longer caught up in the noise of anything else. That seeing someone standing so strong in their autonomy triggers you because it's what you want, ideally, but you don't know you want it. So you're like, oh, who is this? Why is she so confident? Why is she so sexy? Why is she so that? Why did she just kill it? How is she the super mom doing this thing and running all this stuff, right? That's scary for someone who can't even get in front of the mirror and tell them that they love themselves and they love all their curves and they love their body or they love their acne or they love their scars, right? Someone who embodies that fully, right? So it was really that. It was the mirror work, it was the inner work, it was the naked mantras, it was all that stuff that really started to clean up that feminine energy to be able to bring it into a place where now I only attract badass women's, right? I only attract women who are in divine feminine. I only allow divine masculine to show up in my life. If you're not holding that code, doesn't matter if you're super spiritual or not, there are 3D divine masculines out there holding it down. You know, super dad, killing it for the wives, providing, doing the thing, right? Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I'm JK, Ryan.
Oh my God.
JK. Oh, okay, I thought he was watching live. He'll watch the replay.
Oh my God.
And it's good.
So let's bring this back. First of all, I can already hear some questions, but I'm trying not to, just assume. If you guys have questions about the twin flame situation, what it means, how it might have shown up in your own life, anything like that, please make sure you're putting them in because I want to get those questions answered before we do the meditation. We'll probably leave the last 15 minutes for the meditation. It's one that I'm going to have my VA afterwards come out and clip it out so that we can put it in an audio file for you guys, for those who want to listen to it multiple times. But I want to stress this more than anything. You are not here to find a missing piece to yourself. I'm going to repeat that. You're not here to find a missing piece to yourself. You're not, even those of you who are like, I'm with my twin flame already, we've been going through the consciousness journey together. He or she is definitely my soulmate. We're all supposed to do this together. You still need to come into this completion within yourself because for most of you who have been with someone for a long time and you're going through your own consciousness evolution, I was convinced that Ryan, my husband, was my twin flame. And it wasn't until I actually did my own inner work to the level of pure divine love. Like, I was ready to leave my family. I was ready to go solo on this mission. I was ready to give up everything for the mission of healing the world through the frequency of freedom. And I even rebranded to Freedom Frequency Shift away from dragons just so that my brain would be triggered to, hey, this person that you've kind of met a couple of times is doing a sound healing training. You're going to want to go take it because sound healing is frequency. Looking in retrospect, the only reason why I rebranded was to go to that training to meet Dylan again. Like, we had met a couple of times, but to actually be in his presence for a whole training. That was it. I immediately went back to dragons. Like, immediately.
Mhm.
It was 6 weeks of Freedom Frequency Shift and was back at Dragon Invocations. Just because those were the breadcrumbs that my own knowing was leading me towards.
Also realizing that the twin flame connection is very addictive, and it's very like oh, you're like, oh, that's me. I want to be around me all the time. You can hang out all day long, talk.
Super narcissistic.
And they'll keep going, right? That you think, oh yeah, now that we're connected, we just do all this together. We clear it all together. But there's still individual things that can only be cleared through that solo work where you're not codependent on each other to do it together. So you create that space where it's like, yeah, we come here, we clear this together, but also we go like this, like you're breathing, right? Clear together, clear individually. Clear together, clear
You're not
individually.
creating a codependent, toxic relationship. It's the exact
It
opposite.
can
of
easily
that.
go into that though.
It can, if you haven't done the work.
If you haven't done the work, it can. I mean, just reading the comments and just doing the research and seeing what other people are experiencing and how they're doing it. It's this. There's that runner chase codependency. There's that codependency of just avoiding everything else, right? Where it's like, I mean, we fell into that trap where it was like we both avoided our own individual home lives to just really dive deep into this and just to go through everything because we had to go to the underworld. And that's like not everyone's trying to go to the underworld, so that's good for them, right? For the moment. But when they go and they meet their twin, they might get stuck there for a bit. So just to remember, you had a life before you had this union, even though it feels like your union is more ancient than the life you've created in this lifetime. So it's coming back, learning to love what you've already created, cleaning up any sort of karmic cords connections, which we're going to do today, cleaning up any sort of lingering energy leaks, stuff like that that's happening, to make the process of the chaos of the connection less chaotic, so then it can just flow. Because if it's always in chaos, right, and you have no structure to that chaos, it can't flow, then it's really hard to have creation come out in form. And the dream I had the other day was, you are the bowl, Karen's the water. And right, without the bowl, the water goes wild. It just goes into the ground. And it goes and creates a new creation that you don't realize came from the water, maybe. But it's like, can you hold that creation energy, that sacral energy, and hold it into the bowl so it doesn't tip over, so then you can create whatever you want?
Yeah, facts. And especially for those of you who are possibly, I know that Kelsey's in the same position than I am, so it's easier once you have a couple other people that you know that are doing it. I hold the divine masculine codes. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm
Stretching. I hold the divine masculine codes. So it's really hard for me to be in this flow state sometimes. It's hard for me to not just want to be structured constantly. So remembering that when you do come into this twin flame situation, for those of you who have decided to play that kinky ass game of being so narcissistic that you need to have unconditional love reflected back at you externally too,
Why is that narcissistic?
it's a little narcissistic.
Why?
It's a
Why is it narcissistic to have
Why
unconditional love? Who doesn't want unconditional love?
But why
reflected
is
at them?
narcissism a bad thing?
Yeah, true. Fell in love with your reflection in the water.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's the patriarch. They don't want us to love ourselves. Okay, this is where we're gonna go. They don't want us to love ourselves. They don't want us to feel bliss or love or success or happiness because it's a lot harder to control us when we're happy, when we're blissed out, when we're sexed up, right? When you're high on cosmic fucking sex, there's nothing. You could read every horrible story in the news right now and you'd still be like, oh, totally in love with life. That is why we have terms like narcissism as a very negative belief structure. If you're like harming other people because of the way that you love yourself, that'd be another conversation. But just looking at yourself in the mirror and loving the fuck on yourself, that's considered narcissistic. That needs to be rewritten too.
Oh
right?
yeah, like why are you always looking in the mirror at yourself?
Yeah.
My whole life I've always looked in the mirror since I was a child. My mom put me in front of the mirror. I played there for hours.
Yeah.
I love the mirror.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But it's always like, oh, you're looking in the mirror. You're so self-absorbed. You're so selfish.
Yeah. Why do you want to look at yourself all the time? Why do you like? I do this thing where every time I walk past a mirror, I give myself a wink.
Checking
Just
my
little
aura,
like
mama.
little something. But if people watch me do that, they're like, "Wow, fucking narcissist." That's again the work, like changing what words mean in your
Programming.
head. The programming. What does the word narcissist actually mean? Why is there all this negative connotation to it? That's still all patriarchal programming, and you can decide that a word means whatever
Why
you
does
want.
any word have negative?
Why does any word have negative connotations to it? Oh my god. Because we live in duality.
True.
It's fine. So the dualism that occurs within your own brain, once you come unified within yourself of what it is that you desire, that is what will activate your twin flame if you have decided to play that game. If you haven't, it will then attract your highest level of soul contract to help you complete your mission. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're your twin flame. The twin flame connection is really specific to mad fucking chaos, weird connections that you can't explain from childhood that literally don't make any sense, and this knowing of like pure ancient divine, not this like, I have never once ever told Dylan that he completes me. So if you are with someone right now that you're like, oh my God, this is just so fun and so easy and so playful, and he just completes every part of me and she just fills me up in this way that I didn't know that I could be filled, you're probably in a soulmate contract and not in a twin flame scenario. The reason why it's called twin flame is because shit will blow up when you reconnect. That's a download I just got right now. It'll blow up in your whole fucking life. Like it, not neither of us were expecting the other one.
I mean,
And
every suitor that came through trying to blow up my life too. So I'm not gonna lie, that shit was precipice, building, and then I was like, oh, okay, this one. And this one was like the the emoji where your brain goes like that one.
and there really is, there's this runner chaser phenomenon, right? So like I as the woman could see the future. I can see what it is that I'm birthing, what it is I'm creating. Dragon doula, I help witness the birth of dragons. Y'all birth yourselves. You're in little cute eggs and I just watch and wait for you to break open. But that's what I do. This guy wrote a song, got a fucking Kali Ma mantra on his solar plexus, wrote a song saying, what is it? Ride the dragon, though I never really learned to fly. The same month that I was going through my whole like, oh, I'm gonna fucking leave my husband, and within 3 more months we were reconnected to each other. Like if you try to draw a synchronicity map of the way that we came together, you'd be like, okay, there's like nothing else makes sense except that they're the same soul. That's why I give you synchronicity map sort of practices.
So a good practice to look at, and then your mind you'll be like, oh man, I just did this, all that stuff, and now come together. You just go like totally divinely guided, and realizing too, like a lot of people, like for example, when I was with my shadow twin, I was convinced he was my twin. We had such a cerebral connection. We're into the same things. Could go for hours to very similar kind of mental connection. And I didn't. After that, I didn't even think it existed because I was so jaded. I was like, this fucking sucked, right? This was terrible. I got publicly defamed. All kinds of crazy stuff happened. It was complete character. It was complete character assassination. All this stuff, right, happened, and it was like, dang, it's not going to happen. So when you think maybe you're in that union, it's possible like you will actually transcend into a new union that would be more in alignment with your polarities. Whether or not it is a split solar, it is the soulmate contract to evolve you to your whole space, right? Now that I've been exploring this area with Karen, a lot of people have been reaching out to me and saying, oh, I think I met them. I did this, I did that. I tune into it and I say, I don't know, right? Because only you know. And I do know, but I not, we got to just chill out on letting people know what we know sometimes. And so it's like allowing that to grow, allowing it to develop, not putting a label to it too hard, right? Like Karen even said, she's taking out Twin Flame out of the branding and going to Divine Union and just using different stuff. So it's like moving into a space where you can allow it to be in the now, flourish and grow without making it too much of a thing. I need to take care of this dude and raise him up to my level. I need to come save him from his addictions and pull him out of this space and do this thing, right? Because like, why? And then also,
because it's our jobs. It's we're supposed to save the man. It's the rising feminine. It's the time of the rising feminine. The feminine is here to rise to save the masculine. No one's here to motherfucking save anyone. There are no victims. There are no victims. And also, feminine, I got a little secret for you. We chose to be oppressed for the last 25,000 years. Stop acting victimized by it. It was a choice. Seriously, fucking stop. Stop. It was a choice. It's a cycle. We were going through this. We had the Aeon of Isis that was all about the woman. Then we just finished the Aeon of Osiris, which was all about the masculine. And now we've come into the Aeon of Horus, which is about the divine union of both. We're actually not in a time of the rising feminine. We're in a time of complete divine union. Okay?
it's happening global.
It's globally occurring. Just because the patriarchy is here and more ancient wisdom and more maternal things are coming in, we're not blowing up the structures that are already there yet. New structures will be made.
Metaphorically, Facebook.
Metaphorically. We're coming into this union. We're creating something beautiful together because there's structure already there, and then there's all this ancient wisdom. We're creating this fusion of ancient and future to then have this beautiful space that we call nirvana, that we call heaven on earth, that we're creating as new earth. When we're talking about new earth, there's still going to be buildings, there are still going to be jobs, there's still going to be things like that. Okay, we're also going to have a role. That is a masculine thing, like you said, the bowl and the water. If it was just rising feminine, I promise you Gaia would just have another great flood like she did in biblical
It'd be over.
times. It would literally just be
Because
over.
they wouldn't need anything but to wipe it out.
So
Chaos created
the
it.
fact that we're coming in together, that's why I say the divine union. It's light loving shadow, shadow loving light. Understanding that light and shadow live together in this plane of existence. As soon as you take light away, there's no shadows, it's just dark. It's just primordial, oozy, gooey, black womb of no thing, dark creation force. The light turns on, the shadow gets created. It like you can literally see light and shadow. If I turn the lights off, there's no shadow, it's just dark in here. So really coming to understand that you're going to merge your light and your shadow together and get to this place of just kinky, sexy creation that's gonna feel kind of dark and taboo, like shadowy because it's taboo, but it's actually you being fully in your oneness. The thing that scares me the most is how motherfucking powerful I am. Because I create like this.
You gotta watch out with you.
Like I have to stop my thoughts mid-sentence.
I don't like it anymore. It's getting too crazy. I don't like it. I prefer when she doesn't use her powers in this way because literally she burst the pipes here 2 days ago or whatever.
Kelsey did it
Thought-
too.
With her
Kelsey literally was crying her eyes out and then the basement flooded.
Yeah, because you guys are powerful manifestors, right? So the thoughts, where does bond? What are you gonna say? How are you gonna think it? What are you gonna put into this reality? We were walking the other day, and I was like, "Oh, there's snow everywhere. Imagine a lawsuit here." And 1 minute later, Karen ate shit and fell on the ground.
And probably could have broken my hip.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was a bad fall.
If anyone wants to get that lawsuit, it's Karen.
I know how to work the system. Okay, so let's wrap it back. Yes, Christina, is it possible for the other twin flame half to keep running away from it? You want to talk about when you ran?
Totally. Yeah, totally possible.
It's possible.
It's just triggering, right? Because like the amount of work that, like, depending what your frequency you're holding and what frequency they're gonna have to hold, the amount that you're facing, it's just that pressure, right? About anything. Someone tells you you have to commit to something for 90 days, you have to do it every day for 3 hours a day. You're probably gonna run away. Most likely you won't finish it. Most people can't finish that level of dedication to themselves or what that means. So when you're doing the inner work and you have someone present that mirror to you, it's so scary that the runner is easy. The run is our initial fight or flight. It's like, whoa, I can sense this chaos, and my body, out of its own senses for my well-being, doesn't want me to experience that, regardless of what that means for my actual spiritual growth or releasing that trauma bonds or whatever. So that was the big thing, to run, and then to come back and to just lean into it and allow it all to clear, and then Karen ran. So everybody ran and come back and just do a little thing.
Now we run back and forth. I was running, like I said, literally the last 3 days.
And it's okay because some people like to run and do marathons.
Yeah.
You know, some people want to go. That's part of the chase. It's part of the whole thing. It's part of the whole evolution.
Let me talk about the chaser thing. Chasing is desperate as fuck, and desperation reeks. Seriously?
I gotta move.
He's got to move. He's got ADD, guys. It's okay. You've never been so movie in one of our lives. He's just a little kid. Okay, so chasing can feel desperate, can smell desperate, right? So you have to be aware as the chaser, if your twin is running, how much more inner work can you do? Stop texting, stop calling, stop Facebook messaging, stop sending him astral texts. Like, just do your inner work. So when we first connected, it was like this crazy, fucking insane week. Technically, we had met, right? Okay, we had met on 11/11/2019. We had met up a couple random places here and there, but had never even held a 5-minute conversation with just the two of us ever in the whole time that we had known each other. And then all of a sudden I go to the sound healing training. It's just him and I the first night.
So I went online.
Because he went online, but I had rearranged my schedule. I have kids at home. So I was like, can I just come anyway? I rearranged my whole schedule so I could come live. He's like, yeah, sure. And we ended up having like a 2-hour conversation. The whole time he was just talking about how he had just had like some clearing done and that he knew he was going to meet his twin flame, who he thought it was going to be a guy. Okay? Because he holds the divine feminine codes. He's like, oh, I'm going to meet a guy, all these things. I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. Do the rest of the training. And by the end of the weekend, I was like, this is weird. I'm watching myself teach shit. Like, he teaches the same way, he says the same things, uses the same analogies I've never heard anyone else ever use. He was using them, just all this stuff. The whole next week, he's writing songs for me. We're texting nonstop, all these things. We came together on 10/10, and then he leaves to go out of town, and he's literally not talking to me, talking shit to his friends about me. And I had to stop. I had to just stop texting. I stopped calling. I was just going up the mountain every day, like crying, trying to process, like, what the fuck. Songs would come on that I had never heard that were all about the only way to give love is, or the only way to receive love is to give it. Just give all this love. Just keep giving, keep doing your work, keep going in. Then I went to a sweat lodge, did this sweat lodge that was insane. And all of a sudden, Dylan's ancestors show up in the sweat lodge and they're like, hey, so he really fucking hates us and doesn't think that we're worth doing any of this work for. Would you mind, since you guys are twin flames, like, and you're really him and he's really you, would you mind doing this work for us? I was like, sure, I've cleaned my own ancestral line before, let's do that. So I clear that his whole ancestral line in the sweat lodge, call him to tell him to drink some water. He never gets the call. I called his work phone on accident, so it was turned off. He never got it. 10 minutes later, he calls me on an intuitive hit after we hadn't spoken for 11 days. Okay? That's what I mean by stop chasing. I wasn't, the only reason I called him was to literally give him a voicemail warning, like, hey, by the way, this shit just went down in the sweat lodge. You might want to drink a bunch of water. Hope you're doing well. Bye. Right? It wasn't trying to reconnect. It wasn't trying to tell him this giant story. It wasn't anything except for just like good metaphysical practice, right? Like, I felt a little obligated to let him know that I had just done all this work for him in a sweat lodge, and that was it. But he stood back up. He came back up to my frequency, and after that conversation was when we actually started being like, okay, well, do we want to explore this? Do we actually want to play in this? And we went to Sedona for a week and really actually saw what our frequency could do when we were together and when we were committed to the mission of creating New Earth. It's not even about us at all. Even though it seems like it is because we talk about it all the time, it doesn't have anything to do with Dylan Michael or Karen Terrace. It has to do with what is it that our soul, when we first came to this planet, decided it was job was, which is blueprint deliverer of the highest frequency of codes for Gaia and all of her inhabitants to exist within. He knew that in his own Akashic record reading solo, and I knew that. If we compared our Akashic readings, it's kind of weird, right? It's those sorts of things. So Christine and anyone who's asking about the runner thing, stop chasing the runner and do more inner work. Listen to your dragon invocations. If you haven't gotten your dragon invocations, get a motherfucking dragon invocation. Do your mirror work. Listen to your other meditations. Go to Kundalini breathwork classes, whatever it is you need.
And maybe don't even label him as a runner or yourself as a chaser, because as soon as you go into that place, it has a connotation to it. Especially how we understand it and the way that we programmed our brain. If we think about it, right, we've met someone and they're really needy in a relationship or whatever, and you're like, ooh, I gotta back off, like there's so many texts and whatnot, right? Then that kind of feels like that same kind of energy, and you're like, oh, they're obsessed and da da da, and they're whatever, or they're so aloof, they won't pay attention to me, they won't text me, da da da. They're so despondent, they must be running from me, and it must be something I need that are running, right? I gotta chase them and kind of find that, and having that sign is like, oh, this is the space that I wanted to be able to go in to create that new platform to be able to stand on. Without that space, you can't even hold space because you know if he's way down here, you guys aren't going to resonate and there's no point. This is just going to cause dissonance and the band's going to snap.
It's not your karmic job to save an addicted soul from their addictions. It's your job to do the inner work and to invite people into your space that vibrate at that same frequency as you.
Yeah.
I don't have any friends really because of the level that I vibrate at. I am now just barely starting to attract consistent friends in my life. I've had to be alone for like 2 years walking this path solo.
Happens.
It's totally normal. So when you finally find a connection, oh my God, they understand me. Holy shit, we just had a download. Like, we were sitting in the graveyard and we both went to fucking Egypt together at the same time, and we're like, it's never happened before. Yeah, my inner needy little girl was like, please just love me. Please just be my friend. Please just help me. My husband doesn't get it. You get it. Blah, 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 blah. But I could feel in my heart and in my soul like, oh, that's lower vibration Karen, that's needy Karen, that's seeking validation Karen. So I turned it all off and went inward, and doing more inner work allowed us to meet at the frequency. He was doing inner work too. What? I don't know, but I'm sure that he was. You haven't really told me about what happened during those 3 weeks, so I've forgot. When you went to North Carolina with Ray.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Just yep. Inner work. All the things.
All the things you weird. Okay, so let's jump in. Anyone have any final questions? We'll let it run for another minute, and then if not, go ahead and get comfortable. Grab your gemstone, whatever it is that you have.
Labradorite too.
Or labradorite. Yeah.
You got that one.
Labradorite, rose quartz, pink tourmaline, or any other heart chakra opener, green.
Anything. Malachite, aventurine.
Malachite, aventurine, green calcite. That's.
I don't know. It's kind of like malachite.
Yeah, it's malachite.
Okay.
This is malachite.
Oh, it's just not tumbled.
It's
raw.
It's raw. This is pink calcite. Anything. Knowing that your heart chakra, so if you guys can imagine this, your heart chakra glows at this beautiful green color. Everyone's is how bright, whatever. But then as you connect into that higher heart frequency, the connection, it's in between your throat and your heart chakra. Your heart is like the heart of Tafiti, right? How you're connected to the earth. When you connect into your higher heart, it actually turns into this beautiful pink color and blossoms into more, like the more facets of your heart are able to open when you have this higher heart connection. The higher heart connection is your connection to the universe and to your knowing of yourself as the universe, right? That's pretty deep philosophy, but that's where we're at right now. We actually have 8 chakras. So for all of you guys still thinking that we actually have way more than that, but the ones that are really coming online, more and more people are tapping into this higher heart, this pure connection to that love within themselves, right? We're not, like we were talking about with the narcissistic comment, we're told that we're not supposed to love ourselves, that we have to give and give and give and give of ourselves, but taking or asking for help is bad, or loving on ourselves is bad, and any version of self-love you see is like massages and selfies and that sort of thing, and not actually this. Like, the amount of inner work, the amount of time I've spent in front of that mirror crying my eyes out is the reason why I'm who I am today. I promise you all, if you were to go stalk my Facebook and go back to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2018, my voice is different, my face is different. Like, you can still tell it's me, but the whole energy is different, because that was me in full-on suburban housewife. This is what I've subscribed to, 3D world version me. And now you guys see higher self, 12D and beyond, bringing in solar codes, talking to aliens me, right? Still me, but I took myself there. I'm the one who did the actions. I'm the one who does the meditations. I'm the one who sits there crying in the shower, having a low day, and gets myself up in front of the mirror, right? No one else is dragging me in front of, no one else is forcing me. No one's putting a gun to my head saying, do mirror mantras. If they did, they probably wouldn't work because I'd be doing them out of fear. But even then, like, would I even do them? Sitting there and staring at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself how amazing and beautiful and wonderful you are, and then saying about how all of your horrible things too, doing both of them, That's what I mean by light loving shadow, shadow loving light. Loving every part of you, the narcissist and the savior, whatever.
The sinner and the saint.
Yeah, the sinner and the saint, right?
You're both.
You're both. We're all, right? So everyone go ahead, get comfortable, lay down. Trying to think. Can you give me the bowl?
For water?
No, the ding.
Oh. You took the training, you know what this is called.
It's called a Tibetan.
It's a Tibetan bowl.
Oh, Tibetan bowl. I told you I took the training and then realized that you know it all and I can just assimilate it from there. This is a Tibetan bowl. Pretty sure it might be C. G. So we're going to, you're going to hear this 3 times to start and then 3 times to end. And we're going to just take you through a really simple, light 10 to 15 minute meditation to help to clear the karmic bonds that you might have with previous soulmates, cleaning up those karmic contracts, bringing yourself into divine alignment with your own unity consciousness, with your own knowing that you are the all, you are everything. No one and nothing exists outside of you. Every situation is happening for your favor. Everything's always working out, even when it doesn't seem like it's working out. And that you deserve to love on yourself in whatever way makes you feel the most blissed out. And finally, that bliss is your natural state. So remember that too. So we're going to start with 3. And then we'll end with 3, so you'll know that it's over when you hear the 3 bells. Okay, so get comfortable, lay down, nice deep breath. Closing your eyes, really breathing deeply, making sure you have your crystal set, either holding it in your hands, wherever you feel it might feel good on your body. It doesn't necessarily have to be sitting on your higher heart chakra. If you want it there, it is that little notch, right, on where your clavicle and your throat meet. Wherever it feels good to have that gemstone, if you don't have one, just imagining yourself being cradled in this beautiful opalescent pink and green. Somehow they flow together. It's like seeing shamrocks when they're in bloom. You've got that beautiful green, that dark green, and then you have these cute little pinkish white flowers. That's the feeling that you should be getting, that luck of the Irish, that love vibration just really flowing through you right now. And as you're feeling into this space, you might be noticing some spots where there is a tear or a blockage or a black spot or something going on that feels not in congruence to the rest of the flow that you're feeling in your body. And just bringing yourself into awareness of the places in your body that might feel tight, that have some tension, areas in your aura that again feel like they're blocked. Maybe you're noticing some cords already. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to invoke Kuan Yin's pink dragon. She is the ultimate cord cutter. She's going to come in and she's going to cleanse our cords, meaning all of the cords that you can see coming off of you. You can see all these lines, all these filament lines coming off of your aura. Some of those connections, some of those cords are ones that you want to keep. The ones with your children, the ones with your parents, the ones with your friends, the ones with your clients. all of those that are really of your highest good, those cords, they're welcome to stay because those are energetic bonds that are really strengthening you and helping you. However, we exist outside of time and space, really. So there can be cords from all different lifetimes, from all different planets, from all different dimensions attaching to you. And if you haven't incinerated the cords, you've just cut them and let the strings sort of like wander wherever they want, they will reattach eventually. So this specific cord clearing, karmic clearing, because we're invoking Kuan Yin's pink dragon, she goes through and incinerates all of those cords. So completely incinerates them, turns them straight into sparks. So imagine that now. This beautiful, gorgeous, giant pink dragon's coming in. Kuan Yin is right near her, possibly riding the dragon, whatever, whichever imagery works for you. And you're going to see this beautiful dragon just slowly circling you. And as she's circling you from your feet all the way up, all around you, you see little like pss, pss, like the sparklers at the 4th of July. That's happening all around your body as each one of these cords is being lifted and being incinerated. Any cords that are not of your highest good, any attachments from past lives, any bonds, any curses, anything that is not serving your highest divine mission on this planet, Kuan Yin's pink dragon is going around and incinerating all of that from your aura, from inside your body as well. Just allowing her to work her magic within your light body, in your physical body, in your mental body, in your emotional body, in your spiritual body, and seeing those sparks. Some of you guys are like really actually going off like the 4th of July right now because you had so many still attached to you. So just allowing them to lift off. And as those sparks lift off and you feel lighter, you should really feel like 100 pounds just got lifted off of you. You just are so light and floaty. And she's going around just finishing cleaning up some of these. And as we gently say goodbye to Kuan Yin's pink dragon, we notice that around us has been left this circle of rose petals. And we all of a sudden can catch the scent of roses. And we're vibrating in this space of high levels of pure love. And coming into view now, we see Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, Jesus Christ, coming into view. And they're the epitome for our human brains to understand what this divine union is. And they're coming forth and giving you all a gift right now. So however you can, reach out your hands, put your hands up, whatever feels good to you in your mind's eye, to receive this gift from Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. To receive this gift, it's like a wedding present. They're giving you this present because today's your wedding day. But you're not getting married to someone outside of you. You're coming into divine union with yourself fully and completely. So take the gift from Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. Ask them to bear witness. They're going to be your witnesses for this marriage. And you're going to notice now that you come into an awareness that you've somehow split yourself in half, or possibly you're looking at a mirror. I see some of you are looking in a mirror to do this. Some of you are actually pulling yourself apart. However this works, these two halves of you, your light half and your shadow half, the parts of you, the unconscious and the conscious, the parts of you that you love and adore and show off to the world, and the parts of you that you'd rather hide and bury and hope that nobody ever sees or learns about you. All of you is being presented, and Mary Magdalene and Jesus are coming and they're tying a cord between the two of you. And for those of you who are looking in a mirror, you can sort of feel this still energetically occurring, that this cord is wrapping around you in this mirror and this reflection. And this serpentine dragon, not quite dragon because it's still very snake-like, cord is wrapping and enveloping you. And it's not constrictive. You don't feel like you're being suffocated by a boa constrictor or anything. You just feel this golden filament of light wrapping around you and your other half. The half of you that you despise and that you hide. You're allowing all of that to be brought into union with all of the parts of you that you love and adore. And as that union, as that wrapping continues, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene are speaking in light language around us. They're giving us prayers of old marriage vows, going all the way back to the temples of Isis and Osiris. And we're all coming in to this divine union with ourselves fully and completely. Hetuenga ba yata yambo e ale handokiata. Yondovia andiataya potokoya siandia. Henoa la pataika anogoya siandovia taya manduyoboa. Hamboya tikiandoya la hanahana siotova. Hinongo edreko munduyanka inikiasabu aho. You have been unified within the quantum field, within your own holy divine self. To be holy means to be whole and complete, and each one of you is whole and complete and divine unto yourself. Now, to add a little kick, any of you who have contracted in this lifetime to come into fullness with a twin flame, any of you who have split your soul into multiple, I'm hearing multiple, not just one, possibly two splits, triplet, like we were saying, triplets, coming and allowing for that connection to be brought together in the highest good of all involved if it's meant to be. So really leaving this open so that you don't feel like you need to be searching for anything, but knowing that if you are someone who has played the twin flame game and you're ready to transcend, you're ready to come back into wholeness and completion, that you will be pulling in that connection or strengthening it if you've already found it. The level that you and your twin will be able to go to, or you and your triplet will be able to go to, is earth shattering, is a tidal wave of pure unconditional love that will absolutely change the planet with the frequency that you emit when you are all together and complete in that way. Because these two lights, each one of you being whole and complete unto yourself, when you come together, you just make a brighter fire. Thanking Mary Magdalene and Yeshua for being witness, bearing witness to this divine union, celebrating now that you have married yourself, come into divine union with yourself, being so grateful for Kuan Yin's pink dragon for coming in and helping us clear that karmic cords, to clear any soul contracts, finish them, making sure that we're taking our gift with us, coming back into awareness of our bodies, seeing now that green and pink haze around us, seeing that it's totally complete, flowing, this mist. There's no black spots, there's no tears, everything is perfect and whole. Taking again note of the gift that you received, and just being. Go ahead and rub your hands together. If you're laying on your back, rub your feet together too, just waking everything up. When you're ready, rolling onto one side and very healthily taking care of your spine, pushing yourself up by rolling onto one side, then pushing yourself up. Rubbing your hands together again, reaching them above you and clap and pull it in. I'm going to give you all a minute now to write down anything that came up. Make sure you take note of what gift it is that you received. I'd love to hear anything you guys want to share in the comments. We'll leave it up for another couple of minutes for that. And if we don't get any comments, then we'll just say thank you. We'll make sure that RVA will put both these live streams together into one video for you guys and have it uploaded to the YouTube channel, so it's easier for you to come back. And we'll also pull out Just a Meditation into an audio file for you to listen to as well. I can feel that a lot of you guys are just sitting in that ooey gooey place. Yay, Melissa, that was absolutely beautiful. My heart is bursting. Yay, thank you. I'm so glad. So glad that we could provide this for you today. Thank you, everyone, for coming, for showing up. We are so grateful to have you. Make sure that you're here next week, full moon ritual, same time, noon on Thursday. Cord cutting was amazing. Yes, Christine, so glad to see that and hear that. For those of you who are who are in Salt Lake, we are doing a 3-hour workshop in March for very much like this, but going to be a lot deeper diving. We're going to have a 90-minute workshop followed by a 30-minute sound bath and then Q&A and little reception afterwards to sort of meet and greet. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you click the link that I'm going to leave in the comments right here. Right now we have a special for the tickets. It's only, what is it? $55. They're going to go up to $100 on March 1st. So if you are interested in doing that, make sure that you take advantage of the pre-sale tickets. Besides that, just enjoy your day. Drink lots of water, stretch, dance. Go back and watch the first part of the live where we were dancing to Animale. I will put that link in that one. So I'll go back and comment with the link for the Spotify for Dylan's track Animale if you want to listen. It's a really powerful one. Beautiful. It'll get all of the juices flowing. So thanks again, guys. Have a beautiful day. Saying bye for Dylan too. Bye. Love you.